Have you ever looked around and thought, why does retirement seem so fulfilling for some people, while others just seem to be counting the days? Maybe you've even wondered if this chapter of life is supposed to feel more exciting, more peaceful, maybe even more joyful than it does sometimes. If you've had those thoughts, you're not alone. After all, crossing the milestone of 60 is no small thing. Your time becomes your own again. You don't have to punch a clock, sit through long meetings, or rush out the door every morning. But for many, that freedom can also come with an unsettling question. Now what? The truth is, happiness after 60 isn't about luck or having perfect health or winning the retirement lottery. It's about the little things you choose to do or not do every single day. It's about mindset, habits, and knowing how to tune into what actually matters now. So today, let's talk about 7 powerful rules that the happiest people over 60 live by, not just to add years to their life, but to add life to their years. These aren't abstract ideas or complicated routines. They're simple, practical shifts anyone can make starting now for a happier, healthier retirement. Let's begin with one of the most powerful shifts of all. And it might surprise you. You don't have to always stay busy. One of the biggest myths people carry into retirement is the belief that their days need to be filled from morning to night with activity to be meaningful. But truly happy people over 60 know the value of slowing down intentionally. They don't feel guilty for taking a quiet morning walk, sipping their coffee a little longer, or sitting on the porch just listening to the birds. They understand that peace isn't the absence of activity. It's the presence of awareness. This doesn't mean giving up on productivity or purpose. It just means being more selective with your time. Not everything has to be done today. Not every hour needs to be optimized. And once you start embracing that, life starts to feel fuller, not emptier. You begin to notice the small things again. The warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of your favorite song playing from another room, the way your grandchild laughs at something silly. Those aren't just background details. That's your life right now, and it's beautiful. Now, speaking of purpose, that brings us to the second rule. Happy people over 60 stay curious. Think about it. When was the last time you learned something new just for the fun of it? It could be anything: trying out watercolor painting, learning a new language, watching documentaries on places you've never been, or even figuring out how to use that new smartphone without asking for help. Staying curious keeps your brain alive, and more importantly, it keeps you alive. You don't have to go back to school or memorize Shakespeare. It's about maintaining a spirit of wonder. Instead of saying, "I'm too old for that," happy retirees say, "Why not give it a try?" That kind of thinking keeps life fresh. It gives you a reason to wake up with energy. When you're growing, you're living, no matter what your age says. And here's the thing, you'll never run out of things to learn. The world is constantly changing. You could take an online course about photography, learn how to bake a new kind of bread, or even dive into your own family's genealogy and find out something surprising about where you came from. Curiosity doesn't demand that you become an expert. It just asks that you keep exploring. And here's something important. Happiness isn't just what you feel on the inside. It's also how you connect to the world around you. That's why the third rule that happy people live by is this: they don't isolate themselves. Now, this one can be tricky. As we get older, friends move away, family members get busy, and sometimes it just feels easier to stay in your own bubble. But loneliness, especially in retirement, is like a slow leak in your joy. It creeps in quietly, but it can drain you more than you realize. Happy people make an effort to stay connected, even when it feels inconvenient or awkward. They join local clubs, call up an old friend just to catch up, or attend that weekly book group at the library, even when they're not sure they'll love the book. Because it's not about the book, it's about the connection. And if you're someone who's more introverted, that's okay. Connection doesn't have to mean big crowds or loud dinners. It can be as simple as having a regular coffee date, with a neighbor, joining a small group at your local community center, or even chatting with someone at the grocery store. You never know when a small interaction might become a meaningful friendship. Human beings are wired for connection. And after 60, that connection becomes even more important. It's not just about staying social, it's about staying well. Studies have shown time and again that strong relationships are one of the most reliable predictors of a long, healthy life. So if you've been feeling a little too disconnected lately, maybe today's the day to take a small step back into the world. Reach out, say hello. You might just be the light someone else needed today too. And before we continue, if you're finding this helpful so far, I'd love it if you gave this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us grow this community and bring you more content designed to help you live your best life with purpose, joy, and health. Now, let's keep going. Because there's something else happy people over 60 seem to understand better than most. They know how to let go. That's the fourth rule. That's the happy people over 60 have learned, sometimes the hard way, that carrying old resentments, regrets, or grudges doesn't protect your peace. It poisons it. Maybe you've been holding on to something that happened years ago, a disagreement with a sibling, a falling out with a friend, a past decision you wish you could change. It's easy to replay those moments in your mind as if going over them again and again might somehow make them better. But what if, instead, you gave yourself permission to release it? Letting go doesn't mean pretending something didn't hurt. It means choosing not to let it hurt you anymore. It means freeing yourself from that constant emotional tug of war. Because the truth is, when you let go of old pain, you make room for something new. Peace, forgiveness, and even unexpected joy. One woman I spoke to told me she hadn't spoken to her brother in nearly 20 years. They had a falling out after their parents passed, and each felt the other had wronged them. But one day, after hearing a message like this one, she picked up the phone. She didn't have the perfect words. She just said, "I miss you." And to her surprise, he said, "I've been waiting for this call." Now, I know not every story ends that way, but the healing isn't always in the outcome. Sometimes it's just in taking the step, in deciding you're not going to carry bitterness around like a backpack anymore. Life's too short, and your heart deserves more space for the good stuff. Which brings us to something else that happy retirees do differently. They take care of their bodies, but not out of fear. They do it out of love. That's rule number 5. By the time you reach your 60s and beyond, chances are your body has some battle scars. A few aches, some stiffness in the morning, maybe a medication or two, but happy people don't let that stop them from moving, stretching, walking, or dancing. In fact, they make it a point to stay active in ways that feel good, not punishing, or extreme, just consistent. They don't exercise because they're afraid of aging. They move because they want to feel good today, tomorrow, and next week. They eat nourishing food not because they're chasing some perfect weight or number, but because they know how much better their brain, their mood, and their energy feels when they do. They hydrate, they sleep, they rest when needed. But they also don't baby themselves. One gentleman told me his secret was this: "I pretend I'm 10 years younger, and my body rises to meet me halfway." Isn't that a great mindset? And here's a little encouragement if you've been feeling out of shape or like you're too far gone. You're not. It's never too late to start walking a little each day, adding more color to your meals, or stretching in the morning before you reach for your phone. Your body is always listening. Treat it with respect and it will surprise you. And let's not forget, your body isn't just the vehicle for your life. It's part of how you experience joy. It's the tool you use to hug your grandchildren, take that scenic walk, feel the breeze on your skin, or dance to your favorite oldies in the kitchen. The better you care for it, the more life you get to feel. So far, we've talked about slowing down with intention, staying curious, making connections, letting go, and caring for your body with love. Each of these rules on their own can shift the way you experience your days, but together, they start to build something bigger, a mindset of joy, of presence, and of contentment that you carry into every room you walk into. Now, before we keep going, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. If anything I've said so far has resonated with you, if you felt even one spark of inspiration, go ahead and click that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more people just like you who are ready to take charge of their happiness after 60. We're building a community here of folks who believe aging doesn't mean fading. It means growing into something even stronger, wiser, and more vibrant than ever before. And if that sounds like the kind of journey you want to be on, you're in the right place. Let's keep going, because there's still more to share, and the next insight just might change the way you think about retirement altogether, because the happiest people over 60 aren't chasing retirement like it's a finish line. They treat it like a new beginning. And that brings us to rule number 6. They keep a sense of purpose. Now, purpose doesn't have to mean volunteering 6 days a week or writing a memoir or starting a business, although if that lights you up, go for it. Purpose is simply about feeling useful, engaged, and connected to something bigger than yourself. It's about waking up and knowing that today matters, not because of your schedule, but because you still have something to offer the world. I once met a man who made it his mission to fix up old bicycles and donate them to kids in his neighborhood. He worked out of his garage, a little at a time, not for recognition or applause, but because he loved the work, and he knew those bikes were creating joy. That was purpose. Another woman started writing postcards to friends every week. Not emails, not texts, but real handwritten notes. She told me it made her feel like she was sprinkling a little kindness into people's lives. That was purpose too. Purpose doesn't ask you to be perfect or busy all the time. It just asks you to keep showing up, whether it's in your community, your family, your garden, your church, or even through a daily gratitude practice. Having something that gives your day direction changes everything, because when you feel needed, even if just by your dog or the houseplants or your neighbor who looks forward to your smile, life becomes richer. And finally, the 7th rule, the one that ties all the others together. Happy people over 60 choose joy on purpose. Every single day. That might sound simple, but it's actually one of the most powerful habits there is. Because as we get older, the challenges don't go away. In fact, sometimes they grow with health issues, loss, unexpected changes. But happy people know they can still choose how they show up. They can still choose joy, even in the hard seasons. Joy isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding beauty anyway. It's laughing at the way your dog snores or dancing a little while you make lunch. It's calling someone you love just to say you're thinking of them. It's lighting a candle in the evening and sitting for 5 minutes just to appreciate the quiet. These aren't extravagant moments, but they're where life lives. I'll tell you something else. The happiest retirees I know aren't the ones who had the most money or the best health or the biggest homes. They're the ones who learned how to notice the little gifts. The ones who could sit on their porch and say, "This right here, this is enough." And if you're listening to this right now thinking, "I wish I had started sooner," don't let that thought take root. Because it's never too late to build a life you love. One joyful habit at a time, one thoughtful choice at a time. Maybe you start by calling someone today, or by taking a short walk after dinner, or by letting go of that one story you've been replaying in your head. Maybe you do something playful for no reason at all, because you can, and maybe, just maybe, you give yourself permission to be happy again. Not because everything's perfect, but because you've made it this far, because you're still here, because you deserve to be. Now, before you go, take a moment to let this all sink in. What's one small change you could make this week that would bring you a little more light, a little more ease, a little more meaning? Whatever it is, start there. And if this message spoke to you today, I'd love for you to leave a comment below. Share something you do that brings you joy, or let us know which of these rules resonated with you most. Your words might inspire someone else who really needs it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more wonderful people like you who are navigating this chapter of life with heart and courage. You are not alone in this, and you have so much more to look forward to. Here's to living your best life, not just after 60, but every single day that follows. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more videos like this, all created to help you live well, stay inspired, and truly enjoy this next chapter. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.